New space race seems to be heating up. The U.S. and China not just competing for influence here on Earth, but now for dominance far beyond it. NASA's interim chief Sean Duffy is fast-tracking a nuclear reactor to power a future base on the moon, while Beijing is racing to put its own astronauts on the lunar surface before the end of the decade. Duffy says the reactor project is critical to stay ahead of China, which just tested a new lunar lander and rocket system of their own. Experts warning that Beijing could beat the U.S. back to the moon, a symbolic and strategic shift that could reshape global power. News Nation's Mills Hayes joins us now with what this interstellar competition means for the future of space and national security. Mills.
Natasha, both the U.S. and China are looking to establish a long-term presence on the moon. It has ice, which can help astronauts breathe and would provide an opportunity for them to refuel for deeper space exploration like Mars.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
The first man on the moon, Neil Armstrong, speaking those iconic words in 1969. Just 3 years later, NASA's Apollo lunar missions would come to an end. No human has walked the moon's surface in over 5 decades.
There was a time where people would say that if you control the sea, you control the world. I think in the future, he who controls space controls the world.
Acting NASA Administrator Sean Duffy says they're still planning the Artemis 3 moon landing sometime by mid-2027. Racing to beat the Chinese, who hope to send its first astronauts to the moon by 2030.
We were there 55 years ago plus, but we're trying to go back, and it looks like there's a real question as to whether we, our consortium from the West, will get to the moon before the Chinese put their taikonauts up there first. And it's a real race for geopolitical dominance of the moon.
Former NASA astronaut Tom Jones spent over 53 days in space on 4 different space shuttle flights.
What I worry about is that the Chinese goal beyond 2030, when they first get people there, is to perhaps dominate the resources on the moon and say this is a keep out zone. One way they might do that is to say we have a nuclear power source here on the moon and the radiation is hazardous, so you can't come within 50 miles of where we've sited this.
Earlier this month, Duffy announced plans to put a nuclear reactor on the moon by 2030, 5 years ahead of China's goal of 2035. Space experts say it's essentially a nuclear battery.
In these nuclear energy sources, there is no chain reaction. It's just normal radioactive decay, natural decay. And this is why they can be powered for such a long time.
A nuclear reactor would support a permanent base on the moon, a game changer for making Mars missions sustainable.
These Chinese companies are private, but they're all partners with the Chinese Communist Party. So they're assured of making money from the Chinese government. And I don't think they have the vibrant entrepreneurial spirit that we have here in the commercial sector in the U.S. for space.
Former NASA astronaut Tom Jones told me that NASA really needs the financial support now, a growing budget rather than the proposed cuts the White House has floated. But NASA Acting Administrator Sean Duffy says big budgets and a big staff doesn't mean you're more productive, pushing the agency to do more with less.